Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulallah. First of all, I'd like to apologize to everyone for being late with my class today. Subhanallah, this class is normally held at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I fell asleep and I didn't wake up until late. So, but alhamdulillah, at least Allah did put my soul back in my body. At least I did wake up. And so the show must go on. As they say in Hollywood, the show must go on. So we're going to continue with our class for today. This is our Ramadan Prep series, and that's why we can't afford to miss a class. We cannot afford to miss a class because Ramadan, time goes on. Ramadan will occur next week. Next week, this time, we will be fasting. So we have to make the preparations now. And we already went over some of the basics about fasting, the things that we need to understand, the obligation, the virtues. And we're going to revisit all that stuff again next week. Okay? You already know that even if you're pregnant, you're supposed to fast. Pregnant women are obligated to fast unless your doctor, your Muslim gynecologist has told you that you are a high risk pregnancy. And believe you me, sisters, you don't want to be a high risk pregnancy because that means you can have a miscarriage. And that's a dramatic experience for a woman to go through. So unless your Muslim doctor, and I say Muslim doctor because believe it or not, there's some kafirs out there who hate Muslims. They hate Islam. They think we're oppressive. They think we're barbaric. And so they'll tell you not to practice this religion and as a means of trying to save you from this religion and to bring you back to being like them. Okay, so it has to be a Muslim doctor. Unless your Muslim doctor has told you that you are not, you cannot fast because it would, you are high risk. You sisters that are pregnant still have to fast, and I hope this is clear to everyone because you don't want to say you didn't know because you heard it from me. So now you know, and remember, we're held accountable for what we know. If you didn't know, that's one thing, but you sisters do know because you're hearing it live from me. So, pregnant women have to fast too. We understand that unless you're a traveler, if you have to go on out of town for your job, one of the brothers sent me an email saying that he's an engineer and he has to go out of town next week. And what does he do? You can break your fast. That's a concession from Allah. And as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, we need to learn to accept the concessions of Allah. Okay, so if you're traveling, you break the fast and you make those days up later. And we also have discussed, and everybody here should understand too, that there are some of us who fall in the category of having to pay the ransom. What does that mean? It means that, you have a sickness, a chronic illness like I have, such as GERD. I'm going to use my disease as an example. GERD. Does that mean that I don't attempt to fast at all? No. GERD flares up and it flares down. I'm on medication. I take Nexium. I take it in the morning. And if I need to take it at night, I'll take it at night too. I only need one a day because mine is under control. But when it flares up, I got to take two. Okay, so what does a person like me do? When Ramadan begins, I make my intentions to fast and I start fasting. But if during the course of the day, my GERD flares up and I am forced to break my fast, then I have to break my fast. But I have to write that day down as a day, to be made up. And how do I make it up? Well, since GERD is a chronic illness, that flares up when you go without water. That's the thing with GERD. We have to keep it moving down, or it's going to come up because we have a little hole in our esophagus. Okay? Yeah, that's it. We have a hole in there. So what goes down in your intestines can come up out. So that's why you will see people with GERD drinking lots of water, drinking a lot of tea and stuff like that. Because we got to keep it moving down. So I can't make up that day by trying to fast again, because the fasting is what agitates it. So in that case, I pay a ransom. I pay a ransom. I fall in the category of a ransom, but I have to attempt to fast first. Because like last year, I made it I did 7 days of fasting. I was so proud. I was able to fast 7 days without interruption. Sans arrêt. Okay. And I was so proud. Okay. So, but I had to pay ransom for those other days. Okay. So if you got a chronic illness that is agitated by the fasting, that the fasting will cause it to flare up, these are the people that fall in the category of not having to make the day up by fasting, but by paying a ransom. Another example, what's another illness that flares up? Say, for example, lupus. If you have a sickness like lupus, these people try to fast, but if the fasting causes their lupus to flare up and they have to break that fast, then they pay the ransom too, because lupus is another example of a chronic illness that flares up when you go without ingesting something. It could be medicine, it could be food, water, or whatever. What about arthritis? What about rheumatoid arthritis? Rheumatoid arthritis. Arthritis is another example of a chronic illness. But does that have anything to do with you fasting? No. So people with arthritis fast. We have to try to fast. I got arthritis too. We fast. Okay. But say, for example, you're fasting and it's your arthritis acts up in your back because of the weather, the rain, or it's cold. You break your fast and take your medicine, but you don't pay no ransom for that. You make that day up, because arthritis is not a type of illness that flares up due to going without eating or drinking. It flares up due to the cold, or you not getting enough exercise, or something like that. So we have to look at each chronic illness. And this is where your Muslim doctor comes in, because your Muslim doctor will tell you whether or not your illness impacts that. When I had my bariatric surgery, it was a month before Ramadan. My Muslim doctor, Dr. Siddiqui, I said, Dr. Siddiqui, can I fast? He said, yes. And it'll be good for you, Layla, because you're training your stomach, because your stomach ain't but this big now. And that's good. That's the first thing he told me after that surgery. You can fast. And I fasted. When I had my gallbladder removed, can I fast? Yes, you can fast. Okay? So your Muslim doctor lets you know. Just like your Muslim doctor will tell you, doctor, I'm pregnant. Can I fast? Yes, you're not high risk. But if you are high risk, he would tell you, don't fast. You're on bed rest. You're on complete bed rest. You can't do nothing. Your fasting might make you too weak. No. So for those of us with chronic illnesses, make sure you consult with your Muslim doctor. Migraine headaches, you can fast, because a migraine headache is another example of a chronic illness, but it flares up due to whatever reason. Some people due to stress. Stress ain't got nothing to do with ingesting, digesting, okay? Learn to control your stress. But if you are fasting and you get a migraine headache, break your fast and write that down as a day that has to be made up later. You can make it up during the wintertime. And something else that I want the Muslim sisters to know, and brothers, and we're going to talk about this in detail next week. Karen, boy, y'all hear that cat? I don't know what's up with that. But it's always Karen. When I teach a class, y'all know he got to act the fool. I don't know what that's about. That's Karen. But anyway, we're going to talk about this next week. Keep a record of the days that you have to make up, because should you die without making those days up, your family can make them up for you. Even for people like me who pay the ransom, that way if I die before I pay my ransom, my brothers can pay it for me. So keep a list and let your family know I got 6 days to make up from Ramadan, or 2 days, or however many days. So because death can come at any moment. So should Allah take your soul, guys, your family can pay that debt off for you by making it up for you, fasting those days for you. Okay. And we're going to talk about that more next week. So these are the things that we spoke about. And I'm going to go over those things again when Ramadan began. We're going to be using another great book by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli. In fact, Sheikh Atli is going to be sending me that book today so I can start preparing it. So we're going to really go back over those rules of fasting and those reminders and when Ramadan begins. Now, that's the first part of how to prepare for Ramadan. We don't prepare for Ramadan by fasting. In fact, none of you should be fasting at this point unless you are making up days from last year, or it's your habit, for example, to fast on a Monday or on a Thursday or something like that. Other than that, nobody should be fasting right now, because all it's going to do is tire you out. So the way to prepare for Ramadan is not by fasting like a lot of these innovators are telling you. Instead, the way that we prepare for Ramadan is by preparing ourselves spiritually. That's how the companions did. And we're doing that now. The fact that you guys are in here listening to me. I got people listening to me on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram. The fact that all of you have taken time out of your schedules to come here to learn. Alhamdulillah, this is preparing yourselves spiritually. All right. That's the first way. And then we also prepare ourselves for Ramadan. How? By preparing the home. And this is what we're speaking about now. We're speaking about how to prepare your home, because you want to make your home a spiritual retreat for yourself and for your family. Everybody understand that? Okay, and then we have, I want to welcome some of the new people here. We have a brother here from Facebook. His name is Richard Neal. You guys see him there on the thing. Diabetes. Yes, exactly. Diabetic people do fast. And we're going to talk about that even in more detail, because insulin does not break the fast, guys. So yes, if you have diabetes, you too continue to fast, because insulin does not break the fast. So alhamdulillah for that, Brother Richard. So yes, guys, we prepare ourselves spiritually. And also the way that we prepare for Ramadan is by preparing the home, because the home is sacred for us. The home is a retreat for us. Who can tell me why is it that the home is so important? We talked about that yesterday. Why is the home having a Muslim, a faith-filled environment in the home so important? Can anyone answer that? Why is it so important to make sure that the home is faith-filled? Anyone, get on the mic. It's not a hard question. It's just a common sense one. Hit it.
Because you want the angels to always be present in your home.
Exactly. The home is a spiritual retreat. And that's one of the ways to make it a spiritual treat, by making it a retreat where the angels will come, because the angels of mercy will make dua for you. But I want to know, why is the home, having us a spiritual home, so important? Can anyone answer that? Why is it important to make your home into a spiritual retreat? Why is that important? Can anyone? People on Facebook, people on YouTube.
Also, it should be that it's a safe place for you.
Yeah, but why?
Your home is supposed to be safe.
Why?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, you're saying that's what it's supposed to be, but why? My question is, why is it that it's important that our home should be a safe place? Y'all get it? Somebody else try to answer besides Jamila. She's the only one trying to hold this website. I got a brother on Facebook just typing all kind of stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the lecture. Then I got my students sitting here. I don't know what y'all doing in here. What are y'all doing in here? Get on that microphone, Sister Mary Ann. Why is it important to make our home a spiritual retreat? Why is it important to make your home a spiritual retreat, Mary Ann? Why is it important, Khadijah, to make your home a spiritual retreat? Okay, look at what Elma wrote. Elma said the reason why it's important is because we deal with the outside world enough. We go through enough problems dealing with the outside world. We have to have a place to retreat to relax, to revive ourselves. And the home should be that place. Good job, Elma. Anyone else? Okay, also, look at what Laylee wrote. Laylee said, because the home is the place that should bring us closer to Allah, because it's the one place that we can unwind, we can relax because of the safety that the home represents. Because of the safety and security of the home, we should be able to get closer to Allah as we revive and relax. Okay, anyone else? Zoomers.
Both of mine were just said.
Okay. Sakina, why is it that the home should be a place of security? Because, yeah, exactly. She said, yeah. Why is anyone else?
Oh yeah. Okay, I didn't want to call out. Yes, the home is a place to not have spiritual and physical attack, and you do the things that you're supposed to do to keep your home safe from spiritual attack. Like when you're out in the street and you seek refuge when you step out, that's because the shaitan is roaming around out there. But in your house, if you do what you're supposed to do, like not have pictures up, remember Allah, not doing haram activities, music, and those things, it keeps your home spiritually safe.
Okay, but why? That question, y'all giving me the benefits of it. I want to know why. Look at what Norto wrote. The Facebookers, y'all doing so good. Norto said the reason why the home should be a spiritual retreat is because the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you make your home a resting place, then you won't need to go outside and sin. You won't be tempted so much. Exactly. All the fitna is outside, guys. Outside. That's where all the fitna is. If you make your home a spiritual retreat, you won't be tempted to go outside the house and get off into all that filth. You'll be comfortable in your own skin, as they say. Why is it that a person like me, one of my family members asked me just yesterday, why do you spend so much money on your apartment, decorating it, making it? Because I know, as Allah says, your home is better for you. The more beautiful and comfortable I make my home, the less I want to go anywhere. Why is it that I haven't used my timeshare yet? My knees are okay because I made my home so beautiful and so comfortable that my timeshare can't get me what I ain't already got. I got the granite cabinets. I got the rain showers. I got the wood floors, and I got the beautiful patio view and all of that. So, I'm so comfortable at home and so safe in my home that I'm not even tempted to go on a vacation. I want to go see the mountains. Y'all know I'm always talking about those mountains. But that's all I miss is the mountains. My beautiful timeshares I have all over the world, they're beautiful in the inside, high class, but so is my apartment. My home is high class. I got the island. I got all that, the modern appliances, the modern life. I could do an HGTV show. Okay? So that's why, guys, it's important to make the home a spiritual retreat, to make your home a place of comfort. And we talked about that yesterday. And today we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of it. I'm going to break it down today. It begins with making sure that you have understand the importance of the home. But now let's talk about what goes on inside the home. Let's put the PowerPoint up here on the screen so y'all can see, inshallah. It all begins with having a righteous spouse, guys. Oh, this is going to be a good discussion today. This is going to be a good lecture today for you young sisters out there that's always looking for a man. Y'all think that y'all supposed to go on the internet and talk to these loser men. No, no, no. The good Muslim home begins with having a righteous spouse. Allah tells us in the interpretation of the meaning, marry those amongst you who are single, pious, capable, and fit. What does that mean? That's salihun. That's the Arabic word salihun. What does salihun mean? It means a person that is capable, meaning that person is capable of being righteous. That person is fit, meaning that they're able to perform their obligations. You don't marry a man, for example, who's in prison. How can a man in prison be capable? He can't provide for you. He can't do anything for you. He can't protect you. He's locked up like an animal behind bars. So you women shouldn't even be considering marrying any men who are behind bars, because Allah says, marry those who are salihun, who are capable. This man ain't capable. And also the person should be fit. That means physically fit. That's why brothers, a young brother, you don't marry a girl who's had a hysterectomy. I'm sorry. Because she's not able to give you children. You can take her as a second wife or a third wife, or even as a fourth wife or a first, with the understanding that she's got to understand, man, you can't give me children, so I will take on a second wife. That's my book I'm writing. The novel that I'm writing, which is a fiction novel. The woman in my novel can't have children. Okay? So she has no problem understanding that her age, because she's an older woman in my book, okay, marrying a younger man. She understands and she lets him know that I already know that because of my age and I can't give you no children, that you have the right to take on a second wife who can give you that. I'll be able to give you what she can't give you, which is direction. Hello. Keep it real. We old women still got it too. Okay? But that's what salihun means. A person that's capable and fit, physically able to do the job. So a young brother wouldn't, he would look for a woman who is able, she's able to have children and all that. A woman would look for a man that's capable. That means he can provide and maintain me according to the way my father did. That's why your father is involved. Your father is not going to marry you to a man that cannot provide for you the way he has. Okay? So Allah tells us what to do in the Quran, but we don't do it. We don't listen to him. And whoever you marry, if you women are looking for a husband, your husband is the head of your household. And it's the job of the head of the household to make sure that the environment is filled with Islam. So that's why he has to be pious. He has to be a man that knows his religion, who prays, who has a beard. If he doesn't have a beard, he's letting you know that he's not righteous. If he's trimming his beard, he's letting you know that he ain't righteous. Because the man cannot even trim the beard. I don't care what somebody tell you. What did the prophet say? He said, trim the mustache, leave the beard alone, period. But you got these men with these short beards all trimmed and groomed. He ain't righteous for you. And that's why your father's going to say he don't fear Allah. He's openly sinning. So why would I marry my daughter to this loser? Hello, he's a loser. So this is what we look for. Salihun, a mate who is pious, fit, and capable. For the woman, she definitely needs a pious, fit, capable man because he's going to be the head of the household. And for you sisters, I have a lot of women that are single because unfortunately, many of you didn't follow the guidelines of Islam when you got married. And because you didn't, you married a loser who ended up getting you pregnant and y'all ended up not making it. So now you got children and you ain't got no husband and you the head of your household. Well, it's time for you to get Salihun because you're the head of the household. You have to be pious. You have to be capable. You have to be fit to lead your children, to guide those children that you had by those loser men. Should listen to daddy. Father knows best, sisters. That's why we don't fire them and replace them as our guardians. I don't care if your father's a drunk. I don't care if your father don't pray. He knows best because it's called unconditional love. That ain't no other man, no other man on this earth is going to give you or have for you life. Okay. So, and for the men, the prophet talked about you brothers too. Because he said, just like the women, instead of looking for salihun, pious, capable men, they're doing something different. Well, he called you brothers out too. He said, a lot of you brothers marry women. Some of you marry her because of the money she got, thinking you can take that money from her. Or you marry her because she come from a good family. Or you marry her because she's beautiful. And some of you will marry a woman because she's religious. He said out of all those 4 different reasons that men look to marry a woman, choose the one who is religious. That's better than any of that other stuff. Money, Allah giveth and taketh away. Beauty, it dies over time. But religiousness, a religious woman, that's the best thing that any man can have because guess what, guys? Behind every great man, there's always been a woman. The woman behind Abraham was Sarah. The woman behind Moses was his wife. The woman behind Jesus was Mary. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he began his mission, the woman behind him was Khadijah. After she died, the woman behind him was Aisha and Salama and Zainab. He had a lot of women pushing him. Okay? Aisha, spiritually. Salama, strategic warfare. Zainab, the simple, beautiful pleasures of life, such as honey. Okay? So if you look at the famous men in history, even today, there's a woman behind them somewhere. You may not know who she is, but every man got some woman. If he's a great man, he got a woman behind him driving him. So you brothers, the prophet is telling you, don't look at that beauty. Don't look at that money. You look at her, how religious she is. Does she understand what it means to be a Muslim? Is she proud to be a Muslim? Where's her allegiance? Is it to Allah, to the prophet and the believers, or is it somewhere else? Okay? Does she perform her obligations? Does she even know what her obligations and duties are? Will she fight for this way of life? You know, y'all look at that type of stuff instead of being duped by this other stuff. A lot of men today look for weakness. Unfortunately, there's a lot of men out there who look for weak women, and they wonder why they have weak children, that why their children grow up and don't practice. You should have married that strong religious woman and not that weak woman that didn't know anything. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, let every one of you have a thankful heart, a tongue that remembers Allah, and a believing wife who will help you in your strife for paradise. You want a woman that's going to encourage you to get up and go to the mosque and make your fajr. You want a woman that's going to encourage you, to take a break from your job and go pray at the mosque. You don't want some weak woman that doesn't know anything about Islam, who's just going to sit there and won't encourage you to do anything because she don't know anything. That's why I don't understand why you brothers would marry a non-Muslim woman. How is she going to help you towards anything? Okay? So, formulating the faith-filled environment begins with your spouse. It's upon you as the head of the household. This Ramadan starts next week. It's your responsibility as head of the household to make sure that everything goes according to the plans of Allah and the guidelines of His. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, a righteous wife to help you with your worldly and religious affairs is the best treasure any of you could have. So you brothers, if you got a religious wife, you got a good wife, you better learn to appreciate her. Why did the Prophet encourage men to marry virgins? That's because they can have babies. The more babies we have, the greater our nation, the number of our nations become. But that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with marrying a woman that's not a virgin. We have many companions. Even the Prophet's wives, the only virgin he had was Aisha. There's a lot of blessings in marrying experienced women too, because experienced women got wisdom. They can help you with your worldly life better. They can help you with your religious duties better. Okay, so there's benefits to both. But again, whoever the head of the household is, it is your responsibility to assure that your family is adhering to the rules of Allah when it comes to fasting. It's your job as a head of the household to make sure that any children you have that are 7 years old and older are learning how to fast, that your wife is teaching them or trying to get them to fast. Okay? It's your job as head of the household to assure that any child you have that's 10-year-old is fasting. And it's your job as head of the household to make sure that your wife knows the rules of fasting. Okay? So that head of the household does a lot. Okay? More about the virtues of a good wife. And again, this is for you sisters who are single but head of the households. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said one of the elements of happiness is to have a righteous wife who, when you look at her, you are happy with her. When you are away, you know that you can trust her. Trust her because she will take care of your property. Your property being your home. Your property being your children. But if you have a bad wife, this is a woman that you worry. Is she doing what she's supposed to do? Is she praying? Is she fasting? Is she even wearing hijab? That's a bad wife. Okay? So you women, you see from this hadith, the men see the virtues of having a religious practicing wife, and you sisters see from this hadith the virtues of being a practicing Muslim woman. This is the time for you women that don't wear hijab to start wearing it. You sisters who are single and when you have children, you are the head of your family. You're supposed to be setting an example for those children. You're held accountable for them. So you got to start off by saying, this is the month of change. I'm going to change my condition to that which is pleasing to Allah. I'm going to start wearing my hijab. I'm going to learn my religion. And in turn, I'm going to teach it to my children. I'm going to be a better example for them. I'm going to fast this month, and I'm going to have them fast with me. I'm going to teach them the virtues of fasting. Put that pride in them. Whatever I learn from Sister Layla, I'm going to share it with those children. That's the job of you head of household women. Everything you learn, you share it and teach it to your kids. Okay? Because it's the righteous man and the righteous woman that make the righteous home. Okay? We have a lot of single women. Well, the responsibility falls on you to make that home righteous. For you brothers that are married, it's your responsibility. That's why you better grow that beard. It's your responsibility to make that home righteous. Okay? Allah tells us in the Quran a verse here. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning that we cured Zachariah's wife for him. This is a statement of the Quran that many people ask me about. What does Allah mean when he says he cured Zachariah's wife? Well, what did Ibn Abbas? Ibn Abbas was one of the first scholars of Islam. He said that this verse meant that she was barren. She couldn't have children. So Allah cured her and gave her a child. And also, some of the other companions said that she had a harsh tongue and Allah reformed her. What do we learn from this beautiful verse of the Quran from Zachariah and his wife? That it's the job of the head of the household to reform those under his care. Okay? If your wives are not wearing hijab, it's your job as the head of the household to make her wear it. She has to wear hijab, brothers. If your wives are not praying, it's your job as head of the household to make her pray. For you women that are single, raising children on your own, it is your job as head of the household to make sure that your daughters over the age of 7 are wearing hijab to school every day. It's your job to make sure that your boys are learning how to pray properly and they're learning how to be men. Okay? The head of the household's job is to reform those under his care. Zachariah, Allah cured his wife. Okay? And Zachariah was a reformer of his family. So a lot of people will ask, well, Sister Layla, how do we reform our families, our family? Well, pay attention to the way they worship Allah. For you brothers who are married, pay attention to how your wives pray. Make sure that they pray properly and your children pray properly. For you single women who are the head of your household, make sure that you know the correct way to pray. And make sure that your children know how to pray. We had a woman ask the question on my Islam Q&A show. She wanted to know, how can a single woman, teach her sons to pray? I told her, you teach them to pray outside the prayer, because a woman cannot lead a man in prayer. So you teach your sons the Fatiha. You teach your sons how to perform the prayer. They don't have to pray with you to teach them. You teach them outside the prayer how to perform the positions. So the way to reform or guide those under your care in the home is pay attention to them. You got to pay attention to them first and foremost, and then correct them. You want to encourage them to pray at night, even though the night prayer is not an obligation upon us. You want to encourage your family, to make at least one rakat after Isha. You want to also encourage them, as Sheikh Atlee was saying, to read the Quran. The Quran, what is it about Ramadan? And we're going to speak about this in detail next week. Ramadan is the month of the Quran. What does that mean? It's the one time of the year that we spend more time reading the Quran. Why? Allah wants us to read the Quran so we don't forget it. We don't have to read the Quran during Ramadan, but this is the one time of year that we do try, so we can keep it alive in our heart. We don't end up like the Christians and Jews having forgot it. So that's why you want to encourage your kids this month, your wives, your family members, to read at least one verse each day. You want to encourage your children and your wives to remember Allah more. This is all reforming. We say, and we're going to talk in detail about it, how Ramadan is the month of change. I tell you guys, there's no such thing as a new year in Islam. We don't have no Islamic New Year. This is garbage. The year is January 1st, whatever year it is. That's when the year begins. Okay? If there would have been a new year in Islam, it would have been Ramadan. Ramadan would have marked the beginning of the new year for us because it's the month of change. It's the month of reformation. It's the month of the Quran. It's the month of new beginnings. So that's why we take the time during this month to reform ourselves, to reform our families. Everybody get that? So you want to encourage your families, those under your care, to give in charity. So you have to observe those under your care. Pay attention to them. This is the month you pay attention and see what their weaknesses are, what their flaws are. Watch how they pray. How are they spending their time? Are they spending their time doing Robobox and Xbox? Or are they taking some time out after school to read the Quran, to study the religion? Have them join my classes with you. Have your family members, all your family members, everybody. At 6 o'clock, we're going to put everything aside and we're going to turn on the big screen TV and we're going to watch Sister Layla Nashiba live. Layla Nashiba is live on the air every night at 6. Tonight I was late because I overslept. But even if I'm late, y'all get that notice. You'll get the notice saying Layla Nashiba's live. So you get the whole family. The whole family sits down together to watch the Layla Nashiba show live on the air, where they can even ask their questions. They ask their questions live and get the answers. And also Layla will even share their comments. Like Sister Fame said, the home is where the woman gets her reward. The home is where the woman practices her religion. Okay? So y'all want to set it up, guys. Set it up so that, every day we all sit down as a family and watch the Layla Nashiba show. Live and on the air. On the big screen TV. Because she's live on Facebook. She's live on YouTube. She's live on Instagram. And she's live on Twitter. And she will answer our questions. She's not going to brush us to the side. Okay? So this is the month that you look at how, the people under your care are spending their time. And it's your job as the head of the household to protect them from evil and to block off any avenues for evil to reach them. You want to make sure that your children are not keeping company with bad people. Something I tell my daughter, and she never listens to me. Who are your children hanging with? Just because somebody is your cousin don't mean that they good for you. Is that person selling drugs? Does that person do drugs? Is that person having sex out of wedlock? Is that person disrespecting their parents? This is not a good person for your children to be exposed to. I don't care if they are their cousin. Some cousins are bad. It's your job as the head of the household to create an atmosphere of faith in a home. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, the likeness of a house in which Allah is remembered and the house in which Allah is not remembered is like that of the living and the dead. So we have to make our homes places where Allah is remembered. And Ramadan, this is the time to do that, guys. That's why we're doing this cleaning now. Ramadan starts next week. You're doing the cleaning. You're cleaning your home of the filth that's in it. That includes TV. That includes music. You should be sitting down with your family members, letting them know Ramadan is coming. It ain't going to be all this rap music playing in this house. It's going to be replaced with the Quran. I'm not telling you that you can't watch TV. But what I'm telling you is it's going to be less time with TV and more time reading, more time watching the Layla Nashiba show, more time because Layla got classes. By the way, my 6 o'clock class ain't the only class. I have 3 or 4 classes a day. You tell your children after we do school, we're gonna eat dinner and we're gonna pray and we're gonna watch the Layla Nashiba show live. And we're gonna learn. We're gonna fill our houses with remembrance of Allah. Instead of blasting down, down, bow, yippee yay, bow, wow, yippee yay. Instead of blasting that, we're gonna blast that woman named Layla Nashiba who's saying, fear Allah. We're going to fill our house with her voice instead of bow, wow, wow, yippee yay. Hello. Okay. So this is what I wanted to go over today. Okay. The first step in forming and making your house a spiritual retreat is to do your job. Understand as head of household that it's your job to enforce Allah's rules in that house. It's your job as head of the household to sit down with those under your care and let them know what's expected of them starting next week. Starting next week, everybody's fasting. Everybody except the baby. And you explain to your little 7-year-old, I don't want to fast. Life ain't based on what you want. You were created to worship Allah. You belong to him, not me. And he said, you have to fast, that you have to train yourself to fast at the age of 7. So you're going to fast, little boy, whether you like it or not. If you be nice, I'll let you start off with doing a half a day. But if you don't be nice, I'll beat your behind, first of all, for disrespecting me. Because I run this household. Okay? You will be fasting. You set the rules down with your family. You let your wife know, hey, not only are you going to be fasting too, but hey, all this going out the house without no hijab on. What's this? We Muslim. You a Muslim. You were born Muslim. You're going to put that hijab on whether you like it or not, sister. You better learn to fear Allah instead of being worried about how you look. It's your job as head of household. Put your foot down. For you single women, you tell your boys, you boys are one day going to grow up and be leaders. And you don't want to be bad leaders like your fathers were or are. So you boys are going to be fasting. And look at your daughters and say, party's over. Ain't no more Barbie, a Barbie girl. It's about the Amatula girl. You going to put that hijab on and start wearing hijab going to school each day. I'm sorry, you 7, 8, 9, you should have been in hijab. Sister Layla been wearing it since she was 6, 7 years old. You covering up. And we ain't going to be spending all our time, arguing and fighting in this house either. We're going to put a schedule together. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about how part of establishing your home and preparing it for Ramadan entails putting a schedule and plan. You want to get a schedule and plan for you and the kids, and the family and all that. And that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop right here. And again, I apologize for being late with the class today. I overslept. Y'all know I'm running a lot of programs here, and we got so many classes here at Student Followers, and I'm teaching most of them. And I just, my body took its right on me, and I slept from 6 to 6. I did another 12-hour shift of sleeping. But mashallah, I'm here now. And also, guys, for those of you who are new listening to me, please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Hit the bell and subscribe to the channel there, like Brother Emma said. Please like and click the bell icon when you get notification of the class starting. And do share this lecture with your family and your friends. Look at the blessings you all will get for sharing my classes, my YouTube channel to the Muslims that you know, because they have a live qualified daya who will come on the air not just once a day, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. And by the way, our Zoom room is open 24 hours. You can always feel free to join our Zoom room. It's open 24 hours. If you got any questions or want to meet the sisters here on my website, my students, we're always here 24 hours a day. Somebody's in here. Try to share my YouTube channel with everybody and try to get more Muslims involved with this channel so they can learn Islam. Okay? All right, so subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions? Go ahead. We'll share your questions too. Any questions or comments?
What if you don't have a Muslim doctor?
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me take him off. How do I get Brother Ahmad? Okay, we have a question here. One of the people want to know, what if you don't have a Muslim doctor? First of all, why doesn't a person have a Muslim doctor?
Because they can't find one. It's not one in their vicinity.
Okay. Well, then get whatever doctor you got, but make sure it's not a quack. My doctor now, the doctor I used to have were Muslims, but I moved here back to where I live in Cleveland. And I had to find a new doctor. My primary doctor is not Muslim. She's not Muslim now, but she knows all about Islam because she works with a bunch of other ones at Cleveland Clinic. And my non-Muslim doctor has no problem with Islam. And she'll tell you can fast. She even told me when I went for my checkup the other day, a few weeks ago, Ramadan's coming. It'll be good for you because hopefully you can lose a little bit more weight, which will make it easier on your knees. A real doctor is not going to tell you lies about telling you, oh, fasting ain't good for you. They'll tell you fasting is good for you. And if you're pregnant, you have to fast. You know that you're not high risk. I'm sorry, sisters. You know darn well let me just get real. Hold on. We ain't recording, but we on the air. Let's keep it real. I got to do the sister talk. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me hit the camera. I got to get it on the camera. Y'all know I'm getting ready to go on this camera. Hello. Wait a minute. Where's the caption? I'm sorry, y'all bear with me. I'm trying to work the camera right. Here we go. Hello, sisters. Welcome to Layla Nashiba Live. You know darn well you ain't got no high-risk pregnancy. You can talk that stuff to the male dyer who don't know nothing about women's bodies. This is a female dyer. Not everybody has a high-risk pregnancy. You walking around eating like it ain't no tomorrow. You still doing what you've been doing. You ain't sick. You just pregnant. So you fast. And it's good for you. Because like my doctor told me, maybe you'll lose a little bit of weight, which will make it easy on them knees. I'm telling you, maybe you won't gain so much weight where you end up with toxemia, which is high risk. And you end up walking like a duck, quacking, and causing all kind of problems on yourself. Then when the baby is born, you so fat and obese because you thought you had to eat for 2 that your husband goes out and get another wife. Hello, keeping it real. Pregnant women, you have to fast. Unless you are high risk. And if you were high risk, you know it because you be on bed rest. Women, and for you male dyer out there, a high risk pregnancy, these are women who are fretting or on the verge of having a miscarriage. If your wife was a high-risk pregnancy, she would be just like Ibn Abbas's wives were. She would be just like Ibn Umar's wives were. Back in those days, a dark century, women had miscarriages a lot. She would be on bed rest. She wouldn't be able to move. It's a depressing 9 months because most of her time is spent sitting or laying down, not moving much because she may bleed. Oh, yeah, that's high risk. Blood coming out, which means the baby might be miscarrying. That's high risk. High risk is not a woman sitting there holding 2 sandwiches saying, I just don't feel good and I think I might end up getting sick and losing my baby. No, that ain't high risk pregnancy. High risk pregnancy is a woman that's bleeding, okay, and having cramps like she's about to miscarry. So the doctors put them on bed rest. Bleeding is not a good sign for a pregnant woman. It means we about to abort. That's high risk. Okay? So whether you got a Muslim doctor or not, pregnant women are obligated to fast unless you high risk. And if you was high risk, you'd be in the hospital. Or you'd be at home on bed rest, hoping that bleeding stops and those cramps of miscarriage stop. That's high risk. You're talking to a woman here, not a man. Fathers know best, and women know less about that, but women know best about women's issues. Like Aisha used to tell Ibn Masud, why do you make those statements about women? Don't you know that a woman knows better than a man? Why don't you send those women to me, Ibn Masud? Have them come and ask me. Ibn Abbas does. Ibn Umar does. Abu Hurairah and them do. Why is it that you the only one, Ibn Abbas, that won't consult with me or Salama or any of us women about women's issues? Why are you the only one making statements that a woman breaks a man's prayer when we don't? Ibn Masud. SubhanAllah. So that's my advice to you, male daya. Don't sit there and tell women they ain't got to fast. They asking you because they trying to get a fatwa to get them out of fasting because they weak in their faith. They want to eat. Because in their mind, they think that because they pregnant, they eating for 2 when they're not. And they become gluttons. That's why most doctors will tell you fasting is good for pregnant women because it'll make them not eat and overdo it, which will cause a problem for them later after that baby is born trying to lose that weight. Look at Israel. One of my students. Israel done had three boys. And every pregnancy, Ramadan came, she fasted. And Israel bounced right back to her girlish figure. She done had 3 Bantu kings. And she's just as little. I say to you, you could never look at her and think she done had 3 boys. And they were big babies. But she fasted. She fasted during Ramadan when she was pregnant. Hello. Learn from the women of the Sunnah. Learn from the women who live the Sunnah. Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead with them. Questions or comments? Go ahead. Let me see what else we got here. I'm looking at the YouTube. Here's a statement from YouTube. I made up most of my fast, but the last one I'm not sure if I did the intention. Okay, the intentions, Sister Elma, is nothing. The fact that you fasted is your intention. So what are you talking about the intention the right way? The intentions to fast do not entail saying any words. The simple fact that you knew that you had to make up your fast and thought you was going to do it, that was your intention. So your attention is probably not in question. So what are you questioning? The fact that you thought about fasting, that was your intention. So what do you mean you don't think you did it right? What do you mean you don't think you did it right? The fact that you thought about fasting, that was your intention. So your fast is good. Anyone else? Any other questions? By the way, Sister Fame is pregnant. She is 6 months pregnant. And as she says, she's looking forward to fasting this time around too. Fame fasted when she was pregnant with the last baby during Ramadan. And she felt good afterwards, I remember. And she's fasting again this time. And she's another one that bounced back down to her girlish figure. Okay? You went and got to stop overeating so you can keep your mane afterwards. It's easy to get a man. The question is, can you keep him? That's the problem. Can you sisters keep those men? You don't want to turn off fat and stuff because you done had babies and didn't fast. Yeah, any other comments or questions? Zoom, hit it. Nothing from Zoom? Hold on. Okay. All right, guys, let me remind everybody that we do have another class tonight. My Hadith class will be at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Inshallah, my Hadith class will be at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure that you guys get that, look out for that notice. And also, if you enjoy learning Islam in its truthfulness, with the understanding of those companions, please support this dawah effort. Click on that. You can scan the code right there and donate to keep our dawah effort live on the internet. It costs money to run these software programs, and that's where your donations go to, paying for all the software programs we use, the videos I have to make, also the servers, the bandwidth, the internet, all that stuff costs money. Yeah, so please support us at Sunnah Followers. Any other questions? Okay, here's the question. Hold on. I'm trying to get her question. I thought I might fast tomorrow for Ramadan. Okay, do we have to make sahur? This is one of the things we talked about. If a person does not make sahur, does that mean that they cannot fast? Sister Elma, if a person does not wake up for sahur, does that mean that their fast is invalid, Elma? No. Your fast is not incumbent upon sahur. Sahur is eating. Fasting is to refrain from eating. So as long as you did not eat, then your fast is fine. So what are you? Yeah, so what's the question? You didn't wake up for sahur, so what? You had intentions to fast that night, didn't you? Before you went to sleep, your intention was to fast, right? You thought in your head that you're going to fast, right? Before you went to sleep, you said, I'm fasting tomorrow to yourself. Then you fasted. It doesn't matter about sahur. There are two pillars of the fast. The intention must be made sometime during the night before, and then the second pillar is to refrain from breaking it. So if you, long as you had the intention to fast, anytime during that night before, your fast is valid. But if you didn't, then you have to make another fast. You understand? That's why I tell you sisters, and for you sisters and brothers who are making up your days, just take it easy on yourselves. We make the religion so hard on ourselves. Yeah, we overthink. And this is what happens, guys. When Shaitan, your personal jinn, he looks inside your heart. And when he sees that you are strong in your faith, like you are, Elma, you're strong in your iman. When Shaitan looks and sees you're strong, he'll cause you to overthink it. He does that to Norto too. He does that to a lot of my students. And Elma's one of my best students too. A lot of you, as my students, you overthink it. Meleun does that too. That's Shaitan's. Just say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Your personal jinn is mad. He's mad because you strong, Elma. Yeah. So he tries to cause you to overthink. Your fast is okay. Inshallah. You're good. Yeah. Any other questions? And by the way, I apologize to my children on the children's show today. I heard they had a good time though with Sister Zarina. I was asleep and didn't wake up. I missed my little kids show, kids. By the way, guys, every Sunday at 1 p.m. is the Sunnah Followers Kids. I wasn't here because I overslept, but I heard Zarina held it down. May Allah bless Sister Zarina for holding it down for us. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam, Sister Fatumata. I'm sitting here now just answering your questions. I know a lot of you, we lag, and a lot of y'all had questions yesterday, and they said I got off the internet too quick. So I'm trying to sit around today, to allow you guys to ask your questions without leaving so quickly because of the latency that the internet has. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead with them. And Zoom, if you guys have questions, y'all can take the mic too. Yeah, hold on. Oh, also, guys, tomorrow I'll be adding this to the schedule on Mondays and Thursdays. And this is excellent since Ramadan will be starting next week. And Ramadan is the month of the Quran, of reading the Quran so that we don't forget it, like the Christians forgot their books. Mondays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brother Malik, who's from Casanafa. I can't pronounce it. Casanoka. Is that how you say it? From Casavoka. Casanoka? I don't know. He's in Sweden, but he's from Casanoka. Y'all know, he's from Albania. He's from Albania. He's going to be going over Juz Amma with you guys. This is our Quran practice for Dr. Asim's class. Dr. Asim wants everyone to review, starting with at the bottom and go to the where we are now. So we're going to start with Fatiha and go up to where we are now, which is, what surah are we on? El-Qari'ah. El-Qari'ah. Okay, so from Fatiha to El-Qari'ah. Okay, Brother Alban, Brother Malik from Casanova. I don't know. That country over there. He's going to be the one doing that class with us every Monday and Thursday. Dr. Asim gave him his permission Kosova. There you go. He over there where you are, Elma. Kosova. Yeah, there it is. He's from Kosova. Yeah, he's going to be doing the Juz Amma from Fatiha. Well, he's going to start with Fatiha, of course, and go all the way up to El Qari'ah. That's tomorrow from 5 at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays and Thursdays. Brother Alban, his Arabic is pretty good. Dr. Asim said he's good. He can work with the beginners and the intermediates. Well, he can work with us, the beginners and intermediates. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. During Ramadan, this is a question too. Every Ramadan, what I try to do, guys, is I try to keep my Zoom room open Well, it's open 24 hours anyway. But what I will do is try to be streaming live like I'm doing now. I'll try to keep it going 24 hours. So inshallah, starting next week, and I've been practicing it, I'll be keeping our stream open on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram 24 hours. And I do have enough moderators. As you guys can see, we get some bad people that try to come in here to our YouTube channel. But I got about 20. How many of y'all did I make? I got about 20 moderators. Inshallah, and this is what I'm going to be asking from you guys. You guys are going to have to spend some time here logged into YouTube so y'all can keep your eye on the YouTube channel. So if I'm going to keep the stream going live for 24 hours, I'm going to need y'all to be in here to ban those people out like y'all did today. Because you see, even during my class, I had a couple of nonsense people come in here. But mashallah, you guys took care of them. Yeah. These Christians like this, they banned him. You guys see this dude here? He was banned from our YouTube channel. He came in here with his comment. You can look at his picture and see he's one of those Catholics. But alhamdulillah, he got banned. Then we had another one come in. Y'all see this one? Looking like Shaitan. Yeah, he got banned too. So I'm going to need my moderators to be strapped up for the whole month of Ramadan. I'm going to need y'all strapped up and hanging on when I'm live on Facebook. I'm going to need y'all on around the clock to get those Bible toters out of here. So y'all got to be strapped. Bantus, strap up, get them swords, and be ready with them swords to man the YouTube channel. And for my moderators on Zoom, y'all know to be strapped up too. Be logged in as a moderator at all times. Because once I ban them, they're banned from YouTube. What they do is come into the Zoom room. So y'all got to be strapped up at all times on Zoom room too. And just kick them people up out of here. Okay? Because this is Shaitan during the month of Ramadan. And try to keep the other people, AY and Amina Fresno, please try to make sure y'all give ops to other people in the Zoom room like I'm doing now. You always get Meliun opt up, Fame, Habiba. Keep them opt up. And Ifty, is Ifty in here? Yeah, Ifty.
No, but I don't think I can do nothing being no doggone I don't think I'm none right, not right now anyway, but I don't think we can do nothing just being co-host.
Yeah, but when I leave out, when I'm here, I opt them up. I'm talking about when I'm not here. Because when I'm here, like I just opt them now. When I'm not here, though, that's when I need y'all to be awake and be strapped up, because then whoever I give host rights to can do whatever.
Yeah, the host.
Yeah, but y'all don't be strapped up. Y'all don't be in here.
You always going in undoing me, talking about I ain't strapped.
Then you need to go back and do it. But y'all don't be here or don't be at the computer. The other day, I logged in and that idiot was in here talking crap, playing.
Ooh, I probably,
y'all weren't here.
You know, I don't.
Yeah, y'all. That's what I'm saying. I need y'all. But the host was I think it was AY. AY was host. And I had no, she wasn't here. That was 3 a.m. We sleep.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. We sleep. But alhamdulillah, I was awake and I was watching that day. I was watching Teen Wolf and something told me to go check the website. And I logged in here. I'm like, who is this? He had a microphone.
The one that was doing that talking
in French. Girl, he was calling people all kind of names in French. He was having a field day in here and using the name Anthony. He came from off of YouTube because I think Merard had banned him because he was banned. He got banned off of YouTube and he came in here. Yeah, so and that's the thing. I need nighttime ops because that's
the
Habiba.
People and the daytime people.
Yeah, Habiba's in Kenya and Habiba don't be in here, and Habiba's awake during that time. By the way, Norto, y'all send Habiba a message and tell her I need her when she's awake during the daytime to log in here so I can op her, because she's going to be the one to look out for the website when the rest of us is trying to sleep. Now that's the thing. That's going to be a problem, Ramadan. If it's starting now, you can imagine how it's going to be Ramadan.
Yeah, gotta be prepared.
Yeah, but that YouTube is horrible, like my daughter said. But mashallah, we got enough ops in there. They kicking them out. They coming in with
they
they all in there banning them. Brother Ahmad, he had run. By the way, Ahmad, make him a moderator when he's logged in Zoom too. I forgot, Brother Ahmad, you in here? Yeah, Ahmad is usually always around too. Op him up. Yeah, keep him opt up as a co-host in Zoom, because he's usually here because he's in a different time zone. No, he's in Pakistan, and I keep forgetting.
Well, it's in daytime where he's always.
That's what I'm saying. Just keep him up because he's in a different time zone. He's always here. And he can ban too. And he's the one handling YouTube.
Yeah.
Him and Marard.
Imam, what time is it over there where you at now?
He can't talk in here because he's on YouTube. Google his, okay. But you can Google. He's in Pakistan.
Okay.
Time in Pakistan. He's the one that's spanning them in YouTube. The time in Pakistan right now is 6:17 a.m. He's up now for Fajr. See, that's how they are. He's a good time too. Him and Habiba. Yeah. And Habiba's in Kenya, but she's not logged in for some reason. I think it's her internet. But yeah, try to keep ops with him and Habiba, because they're in a different time zone for us. Yeah.
Right now, really, it ain't no big thing for him.
Because we here.
Nighttime,
that's the problem, is nighttime.
Tonight, check it and see what
right.
time is. Yeah.
And that's another reason too, guys, why I don't sleep at night. Because my daughter and my granddaughter Jayla, she knows that YouTube, TikTok stuff. She say, Ma, you getting ready to get live. Them people going to be coming in there and starting all kind of stuff with y'all. So that's another reason I'm stressed out about doing it, because I be streaming on YouTube at night. And I don't want nobody to come in here with that filth on the YouTube channel. So I'd be awake looking at YouTube. So that's the thing. Yeah, the other day I played Abu Usama's lectures, and I was so afraid to go to sleep that night. But Abu Usama checked the YouTube channel because I wanted him to see. I said, I'm streaming your YouTube. So he said, oh, I see, you got me on there. And I told Abu Usama, keep an eye on it. Because I didn't have nobody, Marard wasn't here. So I was watching YouTube, and Abu Usama was listening to himself, watching himself. He was on YouTube, listening to himself. But I was afraid to go to sleep because I didn't want them crazy people from YouTube to come in there and type that filth they be typing. Subhanallah. So we just got to keep our eyes on it. Okay, guys, we're going to close out for now. I'm going to log back in at 11 o'clock, okay, with the Hadith class, because I need to get in touch with Sheikh Atlee about the PDF so I can do our Ramadan stuff next month. So I'm going to close out on Facebook and YouTube. Y'all can join us in the Zoom room. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.